Hey beauties, this is your girl Maliyah Heaven Dollar Rosa. Thank you again for coming on my channel and watching my videos. So for today's video, I have a little bit more of a sensitive video. It's more of a personal kind of tips and tricks kind of video. This is a video that I'm going to share with y'all on how I mastered the whole illusion of concealing the face, as far as having a 5 o'clock shadow and blemishes, pimples, anything like that. So that way you can give off the illusion of having a clear face. Everything's concealed, everything is unclockable, and you look flawless. You have a flawless look and nobody can come for you, and you are unclockable. This is the method I used when I was barely beginning my transition and I didn't have money to afford laser hair removal. Since I've been having laser hair removal, I should say, at this point in my transition, I am no longer using these kind of tips, but doesn't mean you cannot use them yourself. This is not just for my trans women in transitioning. This is for anybody who is trying to conceal, or anybody with discoloration, blemishes, or anything like that. You don't have to be a trans woman. You can be a cisgender woman. You can be a male. You can be a makeup lover. You could even be a unicorn, for all I give a flip. As long as you guys are comfortable, and if this helps you guys, I am excited to share it with you guys. So thank you guys for watching again. I appreciate everything. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that way you are notified on every time I post. I'm trying to get a method of posting every Wednesday. So far that's been my groove. But until I do find a legitimate posting day, I would love for you guys to have that bell ringing every time I post, so that way you guys can watch and I can get the love and support from all of y'all. So thank you guys, and without further ado, let's clock this mug. So moving forward with the video, I went ahead and applied my NYX, the Hydro Touch Hydration. You know, when you're applying a lot of makeup on your face, or especially for you trans women who are going through laser or electrolysis, you always want to take care of your skin. That was the number one rule that I had towards myself when I was doing laser, that I wanted to take care of my skin so that way I had the best results and I didn't have such a hard time, you know, maintaining my skin. So some of the things real quick that I used was, I used this Avon Neutral Effects. I used the Ageless Day Cream and the Ageless Night Cream. And then when applying my makeup, I like to use this primer. Any primer will do, as long as you're keeping your skin hydrated and you're keeping your makeup not directly to your face, and especially if you're caking on layers and layers of makeup to get a full coverage. And then another thing that I like to use are under my eyes is the same Ageless Neutral Effects for the eye cream as well. So those are just some of the things that I like to do when I was doing my laser removal. I would use, you know, the stuff that they would give me, which is like a sunscreen. I would use the sunscreen that they would give me after, and you know, you're really not supposed to put on anything, but after a couple of days later I would start to use my creams in a routine. So I think you have to wait like at least a day or two until you start applying things onto your face. But I know that in the long run it helped my skin, because I knew that I was putting all this irritation and heavy makeup and everything on my face, and the lasers and everything was just going on my skin. So I just wanted to make sure that my skin was protected and it had a backup. So going forward, I'm going to go ahead and show you, unfortunately at this point in my transition, I don't physically have that much of a 5 o'clock shadow, but I'm going to give you guys the tricks just in case if you guys do. I know that the day of going through laser hair removal, I was able to use my makeup, which was very essential because I still worked and I had to go to work the same day. So I'm going to show you on one side of the face how to conceal redness that you may have, and then I'm going to show you on the other side of the face how to conceal that 5 o'clock shadow. This is just not for my trans women. This is for anybody experiencing these issues, going through the same circumstances. If you're going through hair removal, laser, or electrolysis. I know that with the electrolysis you have to wait a couple more days longer to wear makeup, but if you are going through a laser, this is my suggestion. Or if you're just experiencing that, you know, as a cisgender woman or anybody in general, man, woman, whoever, if this video will be helpful for whoever, go ahead and watch it and take notes and learn the little tricks from here. I'm just speaking from my experience, so hopefully it goes well and y'all learn something. So going forward, I'm going to go ahead and pretend that this side of my face is the side that I'm experiencing my 5 o'clock shadow. So let's pretend I have a mustache, you know, the chin hair, the beard, and etc. So going forward, I'm going to go ahead and take my LA Girl Pro Concealer in the orange color corrector. Orange is always going to conceal that blue or grayish shadow. So if you want to use a cream, use a cream, or if you want to use an eyeshadow, because I know for a long time, like during summer and stuff, I would go ahead and apply an orange eyeshadow onto where I had the dark spots, so that way I was concealing. Orange also is good to conceal the purple and the heavy bags under your eye if you have the blue and purple under your eye. So the orange is a really good corrector to use for that. So I'm going to go ahead, and with these, you guys got to remember that a little goes a long way, so don't get crazy. And with that being on, I'm going to go ahead and take my sponge, kind of buff it out. And with this, I'm going in a more dabbing motion because I don't want to smear the product. I want to actually get the product in and cover. So right here, all this orange is going to conceal my 5 o'clock shadow, my beard, and go ahead and take it under because I know the same issues happened under there. So right now I'm going to go ahead and take that, and I'm going to be concealing my beard, my chin, my mustache, and etc. And again, I just took my damp beauty blender, or my beauty sponge I should say, and I just went in dabbing motion, so that way I was able to really keep the product on there, and that will be covering all this right here. I know it looks funky, but in steps you're gonna look good. So then I'm gonna go ahead and take my powder, because when you are applying liquids or creams, you always want to start with the powder, so that way it does not go nowhere. And the same scenario for when you're dabbing. I don't want to smear product, I want to keep it on there, and I want to have it going. So I'm going to go ahead and take a powder and go ahead and set all of this. You can use your translucent powder, you can use your face powder, or just make sure it's something around those lines. You don't want to go in with orange, because I mean, you can use a little bit of orange if you don't use as much of the cream and you want to put a little bit more orange because you feel like it's still peeping through. Go ahead and use a tiny bit of orange, but I would recommend you setting this with something like your face powder or something translucent, just so that way the color is still there and it's not really giving you a negative effect on coloration of your skin. So then moving forward, so let's just say I just had my laser and I have a little bit of irritation, or I have red right here. I'm gonna go ahead and color correct this with a green corrector. A green corrector is also good for acne, if you have rosacea, if you have any like redness in the skin. I know, like, if you get irritated or sick, you might have like red right here. A green corrector will also be good for that. So again, this video is just not for my trans sisters or my makeup lovers. This is for anybody in need of, you know, fixing and tricking up your face a little bit. So I'm going to go in and do the same step. So we're just going to imagine that I have bumps everywhere and that I have red and I have discoloration everywhere right here. And I'm just going to take that like so, how I did the orange. And you don't really need a lot, like a little goes a long way. And I'm going to take the other side of this sponge and I'm going to go ahead and repeat the same dabbing motion, so that way it can really conceal. And then the product stays on. Another trick too, if you guys don't, you guys can always use a flat brush, or you guys could always use one of these brushes, and you could always dab in. Now that I don't have as much, you know, I don't have any, you know, facial hair or anything that I really have to conceal that heavily, I can use a sponge and I feel comfortable. But before, I'm going to be dead honest with you guys, I would use one of these flat brushes because I felt like it would just leave all the product on and I can just cake it on, 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 cake it on. And I felt like a level of comfort that it wasn't going to slide off, or I wasn't losing coverage, or, you know, I was really just honestly using this little flat brush, this foundation brush, to just pat it all in, and I wasn't losing anything, and I knew my coverage was there. And when I say cake it on, I was, you know, caking it on, but it didn't really look cakey. So that's why I like the little tricks to this, because you're not packing the same product on. You're just using a little bit of different products, and you're color matching, and you're kind of putting concealer on, and then you're putting your foundation over, and you're kind of really sculpting it to where it doesn't look that bad. I'm gonna go ahead and set this just like I set the other one with the same my face powder. Just set it so that way it doesn't move up, and just so that way I can show you guys another trick. I'm gonna go in with the opposite colors and just kind of conceal under the eye to cover up any baggage that I have, and kind of create the illusion that I don't have bags, or to create the dark circles that I might have from, you know, a sleepless night or being sick or whatever, allergies, because allergy season is coming up. And I'm going to go ahead and just take that same and go in. And again, you guys can use any type of method that you guys feel comfortable with. Just, you know, be careful, and that you're patting, and that you're not taking off the product, because it sucks to have to put more and more product on. I like these LA Girl Pro Concealers because they're super lightweight and they're concealers, so they automatically have a good coverage to them. Perfect. So I just wanted to kind of demonstrate that for you guys real quick. I'm going to go in and set as well. So another little trick too is, I know for the dark bags and the dark under the eye, you could also go in with a yellow concealer. A yellow concealer is something that, you know, people use often, which is really good because it adds like a little bit of a semi, like, you know, low-key highlight to your face. So a yellow concealer is also always good to consider as well. So for our next step, we're going to go ahead, now that we've concealed everything, we kind of covered up all of our blemishes, all of our discoloration, and anything that might give us a problem, such as a 5 o'clock shadow, any like off like bags, or any discoloration that we might have. So then now we're going to just go in, now that we have covered it and we had set it with our powder, we're just going to go in with our normal foundation and gonna go over. And again, you guys, you got to remember that you're working with layers on your face now, so you got to be very mindful that you have layers on your face. So again, the same motion that you used, you want to use that same kind of motion, that patting motion, and you don't want to swipe, because you're going to smear everything that you've just concealed and everything that you just clocked. So you don't want to get clocked, girl. You want to just leave it like that. So beat the face so you're not getting clocked. That's the real tea. That's the tip of the day. And then we're just going to go in. You use your favorite foundation, and if you are a smart queen, you will get a foundation that is full coverage, because it's summertime and I'm not a smart queen and I'm a comfortable queen. I usually just get something that's lightweight, but usually if I really have bad, you know, colors or anything, and I need to clock something really bad, or if I'm doing a show and, you know, or anything like that, or back in the day when I had that 5 o'clock shadow, girl, best believe I was a full coverage queen, and I was clocking it, and I was concealing. So look at how it's taking that color away and really blending it in and concealing it, and it's like a little camouflage now. I don't know how many times this little trick saved my life. I'm very thankful for that, because I wasn't trying to get clocked. So you want to take it down the neck. Make sure you're mindful of where your blemishes are so you're not taking too much product on. And again, if you need to go in, go ahead and apply more. Set with powder, and then go in with more foundation. You do everything in layers and you do everything in steps. And that's the way, that's the only way you're going to achieve this look the right way. And really conceal and kind of really take it, you know, to where you want it to be. To the level you need it to be, I should say. I'm going to smear on my forehead because I have nothing up there. I just have a little bit of head right there, so I'm just gonna do what I want. So right here I have still some of that, which is fine because I don't really want too much foundation right there because I don't want too much layers to where my eyes have movement. So I'm gonna go, that's the part where I'm gonna go in with concealer. So I'm gonna take a little bit of the Porcelain in the Pro Concealer because I'm hella white and I'm super like pale, and then I'm just gonna take a little bit and go ahead and conceal like I would normally do. Same technique, you want to just conceal and you want to be mindful of how you're doing your things and what's under your how many layers you have of your face, so be mindful of that. And I'm just gonna highlight the points where I want to bring forward, because highlighting always brings forward. So being a trans woman, points I like to highlight are my cheekbones, under the eye, to give it really a feminine kind of look. You always want to highlight your nose because you want to make your nose look smaller. I always try to highlight a small point in my chin because, let's be real, like my chin is kind of big, so I want to kind of not add so much attention to it. And then I'm going to go in with my sponge and I'm going to go ahead and just buff all that out. And remember, you're buffing because you have layers of product and you don't want it to move. It's crazy because when I first started my transition, I didn't know shit about clocking anything. So what I learned my clocking tricks from are pretty much all the drag queens. I would do performances and I would see them clock their shit. And I was like, oh my gosh, like how'd that bitch just go from a grown-ass man to this stunning, beautiful woman? And I was like, let me find out and let me just take some tricks from these amazing, wonderful performers. And that's what I did. And then I started implementing them. But unlike drag, I wasn't so heavy on everything. Because drag is very heavy and very theatrical and stuff. I would just take the tricks I learned and lightly apply it to my face. Because I wasn't trying to look like a drag queen at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, girl, while I was going to school and working. I was just trying to be not clocking. You know, I wasn't trying to get clocked. That's all I was. Now I'm going to go ahead and just, you know, slightly have it like this. You know, I put my highlights and then I'm going to go in with a little bit of the banana powder. Banana is yellow, of course, like I said. So it's a good little low-key highlight / color corrector under the eye. And that's how I'll be clocking myself. Again, we're going to use patting motions. Pat, pat, pat. And really put the product on. Like so. And that's pretty much all I use for the banana powder. I just like to keep it under my eye just to add that slight highlight and that color corrector. And then I go in with my regular translucent powder, and then I will go ahead and that's when I will highlight some of the key points in my face, just so that way I keep it in my color tone. And then I'll highlight my forehead right here. Remember, my forehead really has less product because I feel like I sweat there the most. So I don't really like to put a lot of product on my forehead because I feel like that's going to be the first thing to go. So I like to keep it bare minimal on the forehead, honey. So then we're going to go ahead and, because I have powders on, I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit of my face powder and kind of dab everything in right here where I have no just to set my foundation. I should have did that before I did my highlight, but I got caught up in shit, so oh well. Next, I'm going to go ahead and let that set and bake and kind of soak in. I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of my bronzer. I'm going to show you guys a little trick that I do with clocking my contour, because you can definitely do a cream contour then powder, but me, because I was saying it's hot as fuck out here in California, so I do not like to add a lot of product on my face. So I feel like I already have coverage on my cheeks, and then I clocked all this, so I don't really need to put more cream. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just use a powder to clock my face. I'm gonna go ahead and use this one. I'm gonna go ahead and use these two colors right here, and I'm gonna go in with that first color, which is this one right here, this lighter color. I'm gonna go ahead and take my brush. So to really feminize out the face, there's two ways I like to do it. If I want to be snatched, I take it from here and then I lightly bring it up and kind of curve my apples a little bit. Let me show you. So I'll take it from here and then I'll go up like so. And I want to take all the most of the product in the beginning right here where the hairline starts, and I want to taper it out and kind of lightly blend it out, so then we have like a round off. So you see how already my face lifts a little bit right here. So I'm lifting right here, taking it in, blending it out, blending, 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 blending. Me, I like to go high with my contour because I like to raise my face up. So then I'm going to go in with that same color on this side and show you guys if I just want to have, this is more like a feminine, like snatch face, but this is more of a little everyday look. So what I do is I take my brush with the product, and then I'll take it from the corner and I will place all the product right there, and I will keep it right by the hairline, and then I'll taper out. And I'll just go straight down and give it that arch right there and there. Not really an arch, but I'll just give it that slight cut out of the cheek, and then I'll just take it and blend it out. Take it and blend it out, and you see the difference between the two? See how this one's lifts the face and this one just keeps it a cute little natural look, and then I just blend them out. And then with the darker color, I just take a little bit on my brush and just add to the hollows of the cheek to add that definition in, and I will go ahead and do the same with this side. Add that definition in. Here. So then you just blend out and blend out until you have something that you can work with. And then I'm going to take a little bit on my forehead and kind of do the same process. Just a little bit with the lighter color. And then more towards the hairline. I'm just going to take that darker color and place it more by the hairline to really snatch the forehead and bring it some depth inside. So then, to finish off, I'm going to take that lighter color and I'm just going to take a little brush and just define the nose and contour the nose. I feel like I use so many powders on my face that I need to add life back and definition into my nose, and just contour it lightly like so. So now I've done my contour and my highlight and kind of shaped out the face and feminized it up a little bit. I've color corrected and everything. Now I'm just going to go ahead and lightly dust all the powders. For the question that why I did not contour right here on my chin is simply the fact that right here is my insecurity area, is the bigger chin and the bigger jawline. I don't want to define it. I know a lot of drag queens do put this black harsh line, but you know, as you know, trans woman and as wearing makeup during the day, I don't think that it's pleasing to the eye that somebody has a big old dark strip right here on the cheeks and you can see it and you're getting clocked and you're getting noticed. I mean, it's cute if you have a light hand or if you know what you're doing, but if you're a beginner, I recommend that you kind of, you know, stick to the soft, because a little does go a long way, you guys, and I really do really hope the best for everybody, and I really want somebody to feel comfortable. So be mindful of what you're working with already and what you have and what you're trying to alterate, and not do a dramatic change, because sometimes that dramatic change can be too noticeable and then it might end you in a situation. And I would never like to see my sisters in that kind of situation, and I would never like to see anybody in general in that situation. So just be mindful of what you guys have, you guys, and what you're working with. So again, that's why I don't take that harsh line and contour my jawline or my chin, or really go depth into that lower part, because I feel like it's adding back, you know, bringing back down my face, and then it's clocking me right there in that area. So then I'm just going to go ahead and finish it off and lightly dust off all this excess powder. Go ahead and, now that we have the face framed and the face shaped, go ahead and finish up your eyes, put on your mascara, put on your favorite lipstick, add some blush, and you're good to go. So this is the final look. All I did was add some lipstick, a little bit of blush. I didn't really put on highlight. I just highlighted the nose a little bit and added a little bit right here just to make it a little bit more lifted. But you guys, honestly, this is just such an easy little task that you can get in the habit of doing if you are really trying to conceal and kind of, you know, get your look together. So again, I hope this helped. You know, go ahead and spray some setting spray on your face and kind of just make sure that everything stays in place and everything's good. Be sure to blot if you're sweating, and make sure to use the minimal of products. Remember, a little goes a long way, but make sure if you're doing it the right way, you don't have to use as much. I always recommend more powders than creams, but if you really need that full coverage, you go ahead and use those creams, mama, and you use those full coverage, so that way you can definitely conceal and hide anything that you need to cover. Remember, you are beautiful, you are loved. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Stay blessed.